Hello everyone, my name is Dale Moreau, and most of you know me by now either through the videos that I've done or through the articles that I've written on my blog. Did you know that what you do has remarkable effect on people? And if you don't believe me, try this. Ask a friend to think about the best summer day that he or she has ever experienced and then watch closely. What you're going to witness is a striking change in their physical traits and demeanor. Now, they may appear dreamy as if they're trying to orient their mental image to physical space, or their eyes may widen while their jaws slacken. They may speak slowly and then speed it up as they catch more of the memory of what they had done. And by the time they finish, they'll be grinning and laughing, or maybe even crying, and feeling as though they found something they had lost. Well, what did you do? You didn't wrestle them into a happy state. You actually set the proper conditions that let their minds do the rest. You changed them for a moment. Now, most people live in their problems. They view life through their perceived limitations. If they got chewed out by their boss that day, they live within the limits that are imposed on them by that incident. They're frustrated, angry, and intimidated. And sometimes they take that out on you and me and everyone else. When you change the moment for them, they shift their perspective. You've actually influenced them through persuasion. Now, persuasion is that fancy word that means to influence a person to respond positively to you. It's turning a negative situation into a favorable one. Now, mass persuasion is where you actually get up on the stage and you speak or train the masses and you influence them to also respond positively. It's turning their no's into yeses. And there are two ways that we actually influence the masses. One is auditory, touch, and visual modes, and two, direct commands. Now, I'm going to go over these one by one, and so pay attention as I go through these because they're going to go quick. Let's talk about auditory, touch, and visual modes. Now, when you're on the stage before a crowd of two people or crowds of thousands, or even sending emails out in mass, use all the means of communication that you can. Communication and persuasion work best and with the least resistance when you communicate using auditory, sensory, and visual modes. Now, let me give you an example. If I'm speaking before a mass, I would do this. If this looks good, resonates, or just feels right, go ahead and join. Mass selling requires all three modes. Another example. If what I said feels, sounds, or looks right to you, join today. Now, when we learn anything, we actually learn through the five senses: hearing, tasting, feeling, smelling, and seeing. New information and experiences come to us both visually, auditorily, and through our senses. One mode will eventually dominate over the other two, depending on the experiences which help shape how we learn. Now, with individuals, what you want to do is you want to figure out which mode stands out the most and use that in your presentation. For example, if I'm speaking to the individual John about my network marketing company, and he's using auditory modes, I would communicate to him like this. John, it sounds to me like, is this resonating with you? Or I hear you saying. For an audience, it would be rather hard and ridiculous just to use an auditory role because you don't know what your audience is, in which mode that they're in. So you want to use all three modes on them. Now notice that great speakers use visual aids. They use visual aids such as PowerPoint, slides, or videos. And they use auditory sounds, music, and voice. And sensory techniques such as happy and sad moods to persuade the masses. That is what a great speaker does. He uses all three modes. Now let's talk about direct commands. One of the methods of persuasion is direct commands. Direct commands use languages like don't, Do, join, go, decide. Do this, but don't do that. Join now. Go to this website. Decide to join. Hidden direct commands in mass persuasion are effective persuasion tactics to influence a positive response in your favor. For example, if I'm talking to a crowd and I'm on stage and I will say something like this: well, if you decide to join me today, then I would be happy to work with you. Decide to join me today is a hidden direct command. It's actually embedded within the statement. And when I'm speaking before a crowd, I might say something like this: whenever you decide to join, if you do, then we can rock and roll, or you can try continuing whatever you're trying and doing. Decide to join is an embedded command. So is you do. The last statement casts doubt if they continue their current path. It embeds a negative attitude about their future. Now, what have we learned about mass persuasion? We learn through hearing, tasting, smelling, seeing, and feeling. They are filters of learning. We find our audience's auditory, sensory, or visual responses and use them in our statements to them. We use direct commands. And most of all, we should build rapport. And once you do that, the stage is yours. Now, by finding value in this video, click on the link above or below it and read the remaining article that goes with it, and be sure to leave a comment on Facebook. And I'll see you on the other side of success.